Rangers appear to have finally solved a problem that has been hanging over Derek McInnes for weeks, with a major agreement now reportedly in place for James Penrice. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. The Scottish defender has been on the Rangers' radar throughout the summer, but it is only now that things appear to have accelerated dramatically. With the situation at left back becoming increasingly desperate, the Light Blues have moved quickly, and according to the latest reports, they have reached an agreement with AEK Athens to bring Penrice to Ibrox. And there is already a major indication that this deal is moving towards completion. Fabrizio Romano reports that Penrice is set to travel to Glasgow for his medical on Friday, meaning Rangers could be closing in on a move that has been in the works for some time. The agreement is understood to be a loan deal with an option for Rangers to buy the 27-year-old at the end of the season. This is a particularly significant development when you consider just how urgently McInnes needed another option on the left side of his defence. Rangers went into the season with Tor Romans as the only recognised senior left-back following Jayden Magoma's return to Brentford. That situation became even more problematic when Romans picked up a groin injury. The Belgian was forced to come off injured against Jagiellonia Bialystok, leaving McInnes with very few options. JD Gessama was subsequently forced to operate as a makeshift left wing-back, highlighting just how thin Rangers currently are defensively. And McInnes didn't hide his frustration after the game. The Rangers boss admitted that Romans' scan was not particularly positive and confirmed that the club would be without him for a couple of weeks. More importantly, he openly called for a left-sided defender to be brought in as quickly as possible. McInnes made it clear that Rangers were effectively playing with fire because of the lack of defensive numbers. He said the club had been working on the situation for months, but stressed that Rangers had the ability to react, and that they needed to react positively and quickly. It now appears that reaction has arrived. Penrice has been a target for Rangers throughout the summer, but Romans' injury has seemingly accelerated the process. Rather than allowing the defensive crisis to develop further, the Rangers' hierarchy have moved to secure a player who can immediately provide competition and cover on the left. And the timing could hardly be more important. Rangers have just suffered another frustrating result, drawing 1-1 with Jagiellonia Bialystok, a result which ended their hopes of qualifying for the Europa League this season. That means McInnes now needs to get his squad into shape quickly, particularly with domestic football becoming the main focus. Penrice could therefore arrive at Ibrox at a crucial moment. The fact that he is reportedly travelling to Glasgow for a medical is perhaps the biggest indication yet that this is no longer simply a transfer target or a negotiation in progress. There is now a clear pathway towards the deal being completed. For Rangers supporters, the big question will be whether Penrice can immediately fill the void left by Romans and give McInnes the defensive option he has been demanding. The agreement with AEK Athens appears to have been reached. The player is reportedly on his way to Glasgow and a medical is next. After weeks of interest, Rangers could finally be on the verge of getting their man. And given the circumstances surrounding the move, this could prove to be one of the most important pieces of business they make this summer. Before we get into our next story, if you are enjoying today's video and you would like to see more and stay updated with the latest Rangers news, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Thank you, let's get back into the video. There is a rather unexpected development involving Rangers chairman Andrew Kavanagh, and it could open the door to a fascinating new relationship between Ibrox and one of Northern Ireland's biggest clubs. Kavanagh has reportedly held initial discussions with Linfield after being approached about the possibility of investing in the Belfast outfit. While this is certainly an intriguing development, it is important to stress that there is currently no suggestion that a takeover or investment deal is imminent. Linfield are facing a difficult financial situation and are actively looking for ways to bring fresh money into the club. The Blues have seen several domestic rivals move ahead of them in recent seasons, while last season brought further disappointment both domestically and in Europe. David Healy's side finished fourth in the Irish Premiership before suffering a costly first-round Conference League exit against Estonian minnows Nõmme Kalju. Those setbacks have only added to the pressure on the club financially, which has prompted senior figures at Linfield to explore a number of potential partnerships. And that is where Andrew Kavanagh enters the picture. The Rangers chief was reportedly approached through a third party with a proposal that would see him take a stake in Linfield. But what makes this particularly interesting for Rangers supporters is the idea that was apparently presented alongside the investment. The proposal included using Linfield as something of a nursery club for Rangers, potentially creating a pathway for young Ibrox Academy players to gain valuable first-team experience. That could be hugely significant. One of the biggest challenges facing any academy is finding regular competitive football for promising youngsters once they move beyond youth football. A relationship with a club like Linfield could potentially give Rangers prospects the opportunity to play senior football, develop physically and tactically, and return to Ibrox better prepared for the demands of the first team. Of course, there is a very long way to go before anything like that becomes reality. Kavanagh, who became involved with Rangers after the American-led takeover involving the San Francisco 49ers, has only held initial discussions with Linfield. There is no indication at this stage that an agreement has been reached, nor that Rangers are about to establish an official partnership with the Northern Irish club. But the fact that discussions have taken place is certainly noteworthy. It raises the possibility of Kavanagh expanding his involvement in football beyond Rangers and potentially creating a model that could have a direct benefit for the Ibrox Academy. For Linfield, meanwhile, fresh investment could provide a much-needed financial boost at a time when the club are desperately trying to close the gap on their domestic rivals. So, while this is not a takeover announcement, and Rangers supporters should not expect an immediate deal, there is clearly something developing behind the scenes. And if these early conversations eventually turn into something more concrete, Rangers could potentially end up with a new strategic relationship across the sea. One that could give their academy youngsters a completely different route into senior football.